What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. Remember, before we get to those pitches, hit that subscribe button. Join Ninja Nation. Be a part of the biggest and best daily baseball show on YouTube. And now, without further ado, here are my filthiest pitches of the day. I'm going to start with Chris Bassett, who had 3 Ks in 8 innings, giving up only 3 hits and no runs. He had this elevated cutter and beautiful slow curveball. Bassett outdueled Patrick Corbin, who had 6 Ks in 5 innings but gave up 6 runs and had this slider. Denji Reyes had 3 Ks in 5 1/3 innings, giving up 2 runs and had this changeup and elevated cutter. And he faced Dane Dunning, who had 4 Ks in 4 innings, giving up 3 runs and had this wicked 2-seamer. Reed Detmers had 3 Ks in 4 innings, giving up 2 runs. He had this gorgeous slow curve, as well as this wicked slider. He faced Christopher Sanchez, who had 5 Ks in 4 2/3 innings, giving up 3 earned runs and had this slider and dirty changeup. Darius Vines had 5 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 runs. He got his first Major League K on this painted fastball and also had this filthy changeup. An excellent debut for Vines, and he outdueled Kyle Freeland, who had 3 Ks in 5 2/3 innings, giving up 6 earned runs. He had this elevated fastball. Freeland's ERA this year is now 5.18. Hunter Green had a solid outing with 6 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings, giving up no earned runs. He relied on these filthy sliders and this 99-mile-an-hour heater. And he battled Logan Webb, who had 6 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 runs. Webb had these fastballs, including this front-door 2-seamer, as well as these nasty sliders and changeups. Brandon Woodruff had 8 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 runs. He had these fastballs, including these painted fastballs. And he faced off against Kyle Hendricks, who was basically peak professor in this game, with 6 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up no earned runs. He had this 90-mile-an-hour heater. Okay, this heater wouldn't keep your house warm, but it is a fastball, as well as these nasty changeups. And I did this overlay to show how his changeup sets up his fastball. Here's a changeup that gets a swing. It's a little bit out of the zone. And you see how he follows it up with a fastball a tiny bit below that changeup. He repeats his mechanics really well, and as a hitter, you think you're getting another changeup, and you're going to take it because you think it's going to finish below the one that you swung at that was out of the zone, but instead it's a fastball and ends up in the zone for a backwards K. Great sequencing by Kyle Hendricks. He also had this dirty curveball that was framed absolutely perfectly. Angel Hernandez would have rung someone up on that. Dylan Cease had 7 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 5 earned runs, but had these fastballs and sliders. Andre Jackson had 7 Ks in 5 2/3 innings, giving up 1 run and had these fastballs and changeups. Bryce Miller had 5 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 3 runs and had these 96-mile-an-hour heaters. He faced Zach Neal, who had 6 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 3 runs and had this cutter and 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Miles Michaelis had 2 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 3 runs and had this elevated fastball. Framber Valdez had 5 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. He had this elevated 2-seamer and nasty changeup. Ryan Pepio had 3 Ks in 5 innings, giving up no runs, and had this fastball and changeup for a sword. He outdueled Brandon Pfaadt, who had 4 Ks in 4 innings, giving up 5 earned runs, and had this sinker, changeup, and sweeper. Garrett Cole had 7 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 runs, both on solo home runs, and had these fastballs, sliders, knuckle curve, and got a KO on this changeup. Ninja referee Steve Willis, count this man out. Zach Eflin had 4 strikeouts in 6 1/3 scoreless innings. He had these 2-seamers and curveballs, but I thought his filthiest pitch of the game were these sweepers, which had up to 20 inches of horizontal break. That's a relatively new pitch for Zach Eflin, and it is absolutely filthy. Eflin's ERA this season is now 3.4, and he battled against Jesus Luzardo, who had 8 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up only 1 hit and no runs. And I gotta give him a co-filthiest starting pitcher of the day. He looked like prime Jesus Lizard with these fastballs, changeups, and slider for a sword. Tanner Bibee had 8 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had this fastball and changeup, as well as these breaking balls, and got a sword on this slider. He's had a really impressive rookie season, and his ERA is now 3.03. Bibee just knows how to pitch, and he battled yesterday's co-filthiest starting pitcher of the day, Sonny Gray. Gray had 5 Ks in 7 scoreless innings, giving up only 3 hits. He had these wicked sliders and sweepers, and painted with it. And I did this overlay to show how filthy his breaking ball is. You can see Jose Ramirez thinks it's another fastball. It tunnels really well with that fastball, and then absolutely dives, getting the sword. J-Ram thought it was a fastball that he was going to hit harder than he hit Tim Anderson, and instead, it disappears. Another big reason Sonny Gray would be my co-filthiest starting pitcher of the day yesterday, Gray overcame this injury scare yesterday. You can see his teammates and coaches circling around him. Gray was clearly having foot issues, and he solves it by miraculously taking off his shoe, shaking it, and getting a pebble out. Amazingly, he was able to stay in this game. This was basically Sonny Gray's Jordan flu game, proving pitchers are some of the toughest athletes you'll ever see. Now onto my filthiest relievers. Tom Cosgrove had this nasty slow slider. Andres Munoz had this 99-mile-an-hour heater. Cue the saxophone, Alexis Diaz had this fastball. James Karinchak had this curveball and fastball. Joan Duran had this 102-mile-an-hour fastball, and then had this curveball that ended up behind Naylor. And the Twins broadcast team kept arguing that Naylor swung. You do see him kind of run to first base, acting like he did swing, and this was a drop third strike. But the rule of whether it's a swing or not is whether the hitter actually made an attempt to hit the ball, not whether his bat goes through the zone. And I don't think you can say that he was trying to hit this pitch. What do y'all think? Leave me your thoughts in the comments. Carlos Estevez had this fastball and slider. Gregory Soto had this White Castle special. Ryan Yarbrough had these fastballs and slow curve. Trevor Stephan had these filthy splitters. Pete Fairbanks had this nasty slider. Ian Hamilton had these 6 Slambios and picked up a White Castle special, although I don't know if you can call it a White Castle special if they're Slambios, which are a slider with a changeup grip, but I'm going to give it to him. Colin Holderman had this 99-mile-an-hour two-seamer. Matt Brash picked up 2 White Castle specials in his appearance. Check out these wicked sliders. And my filthiest pitch from a reliever yesterday was this 3,469 RPM curveball from Ryan Presley. Yes, this curveball was almost 3,500 RPMs. Insane. Look how violently that thing drops. I did this overlay with his slider, and you can see just how filthy that curveball is. As a hitter, you think you may be getting a slider, and you get that curveball that drills to the center of the earth. After the game, Astros fans were wondering what Presley was yelling at, and I'm pretty sure he was still pissed off that this from Casas wasn't ruled a swing. It looks like he was saying, "That's a swing, bro. It was a f***ing swing." Either way, Presley still picked up the save. And now, my Pitching Ninja Moment of Zen. Actually, before I get to the Moment of Zen, remember to hit subscribe because today I'm interviewing Greg Maddux and you're not going to want to miss it. So hit that subscribe button. Now my Pitching Ninja Moment of Zen. Let's see if y'all can name this famous sports photographer. What is up, everybody? My picks of the day today are a 3-leg parlay. I'm going to start out with Braxton Garrett for 5Ks or more, then take Clark Schmidt for 6Ks or more, and top it off with Spencer Strider for 8Ks or more. What would your picks of the day be?